We have a few housekeeping items that we just wanted to mention really quick before we get started. We would ask that you mute your phones or your computer microphones just to avoid the background noise and to avoid the echo that we were having before. So if you could do that, that would be great. We are going to have a question and answer portion. I have two during mine, and then Becca will also have one. So you can post questions in the chat area, or you could unmute your phone when we get to that section, and you can ask questions then. Okay? So, but in the meantime, if you could just either turn the microphone or your speakers down, or mute your phone just so we could avoid the echo and the background noise, that would be great. Thank you. So my portion of the in-service is we're going to be talking about videos, using videos and PowerPoint presentations to enhance student learning. So the first portion of this, I'm going to be talking about videos, and then I'm going to move into PowerPoint presentations. I use videos in my classrooms, in my online classrooms. Normally I use my videos as the welcome announcement. I will post them right along with my welcome announcement, and it allows the students to kind of put a face with the name. Sometimes the online environment can be very isolating and you don't have any idea what your instructor looks like, and so I do a video where I welcome them to class and give them all the information that they can use that I normally type in the welcome announcement, which I also include a typed out welcome announcement. But I really feel like the video engages the students. It shows that I care, that I took the time to actually video myself and to put it into YouTube and then upload it to the classroom. So I really think that it's a good way to engage the students. It also is a good way to relate important information. As we all know, in some of those welcome announcements, they can get pretty lengthy, and so students maybe sometimes don't read all of the information that they need. So you could, in your videos, relate some of that really important information that you want them to understand before they start the class. So I'm going to show you, I don't know how well this is going to work because I'm on the phone, but I have a little bit of my welcome video. So I hope that, I'm going to turn my speakers up. Hopefully this isn't too bad. If it gets bad, Becca, please tell me.
Sure.
Hello, and welcome to VC 116, which is the Introduction to Computers and Computer Applications. For most of you, this is going to be your first class here at LA College, and I want to extend a very warm welcome to all of you, and hope that you're very excited about starting on this journey in your education. Okay, so I can hear the echo. So I kind of stopped that, but that's the general idea of some of the things that I put. I welcome them to the class, and then I go through some participation items, and I just go through a lot of the things that I hit the high points of my welcome announcement. As you can see, this video is only 4 minutes long, so it's not that long, and sometimes, you know, I've gotten a lot of really good feedback from students that they like it and that they think that, you know, it's a good addition to the class, and it kind of gives them the opportunity to actually see me and see who I am, and, you know, my mannerisms and that kind of thing. I guess it gives me a more personal, it gives them a more personal feeling in the class. So I wanted to talk a little bit about creating a video. I know a lot of us already know how to do this, but I just wanted to go through a few different ways that you could create the video. I've actually tried it a few different ways. I have used my webcam. I have a webcam on my computer, and most webcams, when you purchase them, they come with a built-in software that allows you to capture video, and it allows you to capture little short snippets, probably up to 5 or 10 minutes, and then save them to your computer. So I have my GE218 welcome video is done with my webcam. I also know that most digital cameras nowadays have also the short video capability that you could save onto your computer. And then that BC116 video that you saw was actually created with my digital video camera. So I created that, I uploaded it directly to my computer, and then I was able to put it onto YouTube. And I think those are the 3 main ways that you could create a video. Now, I wanted to just go very briefly on how to upload a video to YouTube, because I know you can create a video and you know how to do it, but how to upload it to YouTube so that you can put that link into your classroom. So first, if you haven't already done it, you need to create a user account with YouTube, and you have to sign in before you can upload videos. You could create a channel, a YouTube channel, but you can also just create a user account and you can upload videos to that. So I have a short video that, oh, hang on. There we go. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Okay. So I've typed in YouTube up at the top of the screen. And then I'm signing in. And then you go up to the top and you click on upload, and then you can upload your video, or you can record directly from your webcam onto YouTube. And then I'm finding the file. And then it just basically starts uploading. Now, down here at the bottom, when I clicked unlisted, I usually do that just so it doesn't become public and you can't, people can't find it or search for it publicly. If you give the students your link, and then they can find your video. And then when you want to share your video, when it's all uploaded, you click on the button that says share under your video, and then there's your link, and you can copy and paste that directly into your announcement in your class, and so then your students can go directly to that link and see the video. So I know that went by kind of fast, but we'll have an opportunity to see some of these again because we're recording this, so you'll be able to see that again. Okay. So what I wanted to do is just take a minute, because I know that went kind of fast, especially that last little part about YouTube. I didn't expect it to go that fast. So I just want to see if anyone has any questions. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat, or you can unmute your phone. I see one question that says, is there a particular software that I prefer for my webcam video? I actually use Adobe, which I know is very expensive, and a lot of people can't afford it, but I use Adobe for mine. I create a lot of videos. I have scores of children, and so I'm constantly creating videos of their lives and the things that they do, so I invested in that. But that is the software that I use. Does anybody else have any questions about videos? No? Okay. So, okay. So I'll move on to my PowerPoint presentations, and I use PowerPoint for something a little bit different than the videos. The videos is more a personal type chat, or to get kind of engage the students, whereas I use PowerPoint presentations to actually enhance some of the curriculum or the material in the class. I use PowerPoints to enhance the lecture with narration, where I'll show you kind of what I do there. Hopefully the echo won't be too bad. And then I also create a more illustrated explanation of some of the more complex ideas in my class. Basically, PowerPoint presentations allow students who are more visual or oral learners to hear and to see some of the lectures as opposed to just reading them on the computer. So I'm going to try this again, see how this works. This is my week 1 lecture in one of my other classes, and what I've done is I've just created this one slide that says week 1 lecture, academic writing basics, and I actually printed off the lecture and I read it into the PowerPoint. So a student could come along and they could, instead of reading that lecture, they can pull up this PowerPoint and they can hit play and they can listen to it being read to them as opposed to just having to read it on a computer screen. So let me see how well this works. If the echo gets bad, I'm not going to leave it on for very long. Okay. So that is when I enhance the lecture, that's how I do that, is I basically just create this slide and then I record a narration into that and upload it to my class. These can get a little very large in size on your computer, so you kind of have to be careful with that, but just one slide and one lecture doesn't take that much space. This presentation, however, the Introduction to the LAC Style Guide, is a huge file. It's already uploaded to the actual LAC, I believe it's on the LAC Style Guide. And what this is when I was talking about how you can use it to enhance or explain a more complex idea. I had a lot of students that were having problems with the LAC Style Guide. They didn't know how to cite properly, and they didn't know how to, and they didn't want to read the entire LAC Style Guide. So I created a PowerPoint presentation that just hits the high points of the LAC Style Guide and actually visually lets them see how to do a citation, where to find the information, how to create the reference page, how to create a title page, that kind of thing. And I recorded a narration to the entire LAC Style Guide and just kind of explained it as I went through it. So I believe that's now uploaded on the LAC Style Guide. Don't count me for positive on that, but I created that so it could be used in other classes as well. So I'm going to read through this, and I know this is a lot of text, but I'm going to read through this and I'm going to actually show you on the PowerPoint presentation how to record a narration. So you've created your PowerPoint and you want to create the narration that goes behind it. You do have to have a computer microphone in order to be able to do that. So under the slideshow tab, you're going to click, there's a record narration option. And then it's going to ask you to set your microphone level. So you'll read a certain text that they have on there, and it will show you if your microphone's working or not. And then you just click OK to begin recording. So you just kind of go through each slide, and as you get to the end of the narration for each slide, you just click your mouse. The slide will automatically advance. And at the end, when you're all done, you save the slide timings as well as their narration. That way each slide is saved for the time it takes to play the narration. So a slide won't advance until the narration is done. So that's how this works. So I wanted to show you up here. It's under this slideshow tab. It's called Record Narration. And then you can see where you can set your microphone level. And you can see my microphone level is working very well. And then you just click OK and you just start talking. Usually I have some kind of script in front of me. Well, with the lectures I read it verbatim, but for something where I'm just trying to explain something more complex, I just have an outline of notes in front of me, and I just read off of those. So it's more of a conversation style. And that brings me to the end of my part of this. I wanted to check and see if there were any questions about PowerPoint presentations. And if anybody has any questions, you can unmute your phone or your computer. And I got another question, is there a free generic video software? I looked for some on the internet and I really couldn't find any that were really good quality that would do what we needed to do. If you're wanting to just record it off of a webcam, the best thing to do is, like on YouTube, is to create your account and then just record it directly from your webcam. So you can do that, and YouTube will automatically save the video. The only thing with that is you would not be able to edit the video. If you said something wrong or you messed up, you would have to start over. So that's the only bad thing about that. But otherwise it would work fine. YouTube is a free service. Does anybody else have any questions?
Becca?
Yes.
This is Kurt Duffy. I have a quick question. How many of the students, or what percentage of them, are sort of familiar with seeing narrated slideshows. Is this going to be totally new for them, or are they have they been exposed to them already?
Well, if they're in my classes, I know English 100, GE 218, and BC 116, I do it. So if they've been through one of my classes, they're used to it.
Thank you, Debbie. This is Becca. I just wanted to mention that this is really something that Debbie has taken the initiative to use in her classroom, and in that way, if it's something you'd like to adopt as well, we are very excited that you would. So I feel that the more that you use these technologies and communicate in these different ways to students, the more exposure they'll get. And also, they see a lot of different types of media in their lives on a daily basis. So I think they'd be amenable to it.
I agree, absolutely. I found that the students that I have the welcome videos or the PowerPoint presentations, I mean, the PowerPoint presentation for the LAC Style Guide alone saves me a great deal of time in explaining things to students over and over again with the feedback that I had to give them for citations. I found that the citation style and their ability to format it went way up after I created this PowerPoint and gave it to them in the classes in order to be able to see actually how to create citations. So I agree 100%. It's really changed the dynamic of my class, especially, you know, those welcome videos. They can see me and they can see who I am, and it makes it more personal and it engages them more in the class. But if there aren't any more questions, I'm now going to turn it over to Becca, who is going to take over and do the other portion of this.
Great, thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome. I'm going to mute my phone now.
Okay. Is anyone seeing a welcome slide at this point? Effective use of online tools and technology. I don't know that we've gotten presenter view switch quite yet. There we go. Okay. So, all right. Now we should be seeing my intro slide, welcome, effective use of online tools and technology. Is anyone not seeing that? Oh, looks like...
I'm not seeing that.
Okay.
Not seeing that.
Thank you.
This is Carol again. I'll be seeing your faculty and service.
Okay.
Coming up.
It looks like I want to make sure we have the right monitor being shared. Just bear with me one moment, please. Okay, great. I'm going to flip to another slide. Does anyone see a slide with my picture on it?
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
We're there. So, I just want to take a minute to thank everyone for attending tonight. It's really an honor and a privilege for me to be participating in this call and to get a chance to share with you a tool that I absolutely love communicating with called Jing. And so before we get started, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a curriculum designer here at LA College International since '09. I've been in higher ed online since '04, adult ed since '99. I got my start in e-learning back in '99 as a technical writer and a client manager for a local company here in Phoenix that did that. And I'm especially interested in visuals and instruction in rapid design software, which is a way to produce multimedia quickly. And also I'm teaching myself some graphic design basics at the moment. So that's a little bit about me. So we'll get started, and what you're probably wondering is, what is Jing? If you haven't heard of it before or used it. Well, Jing is a free image and video capture tool, and it's wonderful that it's free. It's free because it's the bare bones version of other software that you could pay for if you so chose to. And what Jing allows you to do is it lets you capture images and videos, and really you get the most value through capturing images with Jing, because you can do more. You can see it's a little more versatile. Not only can you capture the images, you can copy and paste those images into any Microsoft application, Outlook, PowerPoint, Word. You can paste it into a web-based application such as a blog or a wiki or a Google document. You can also save a copy of that image to your desktop. And when I say image, what I really should say is screenshot or screen capture. You can take image capture, screen capture of what you're seeing on your monitor using this tool. And then a really great feature is you can do some basic annotation of that image. You can highlight, type notes, use arrows. You can annotate it in all sorts of different ways as you're taking that capture. And then a really nice feature is you can create a link to that image, which you can then email to someone. You could save that link in your browser's favorites. So there's a lot of versatility in how you capture these images and then reuse them later. Videos, with Jing you can capture about 5 minutes of video and audio of what's happening on your desktop. And you can't copy and paste that. I just don't think the functionality is there. You can save the file, which isn't ideal honestly, because it saves it as a .swf or flash file, and sharing that sort of file just won't work unless you're sharing it with someone who has Adobe Flash installed, which is more of an advanced program, and most people don't have that. So the benefit here is you use the link instead, like you would, and I'll show you how to do that. But you can produce a link to that video which you can then share with other people. So we'll get into the how-to in a moment, and I've also got some pauses here for questions and answers. And I really like to use it to enhance our curriculum with visuals as much as possible, and also communicate with colleagues. So we would get started by downloading Jing from the parent company called TechSmith.com. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my browser window over so you guys can see it. And here we are at TechSmith.com. You can see they make several products available for sale, but Jing is free, so we would go here on the menu and choose Jing. And this page is going to tell you some basic information, pretty much summarize what I just shared. There's a great overview video, some information on how you might use it, and essentially you would just go ahead and choose download, and you could download for Windows or Mac, and it's a pretty simple download process, so I won't go through that at this time. Plus I already have it on my computer. You might be wondering, you see there's a Jing Pro, and what's the difference between the free version and Jing Pro? Well, Jing Pro basically gives you, for $15 a year, more advanced video capture ability. So rather than output the video to a flash file, SWF, it will give you an MPEG-4, which you could then upload to YouTube. So it's a little more versatile, but honestly, I haven't seen a need to purchase this in the years that I've been using the free Jing. And that's because it will actually, Jing is partnered with a website called Screencast.com. And Screencast is the site where it will host those image captures for you and those video captures up to 2 gigabytes. I think it states it here, yep, 2 gigabytes of storage bandwidth for online sharing. So that's a lot of storage, and I haven't used that up even near close yet. So you can do quite a bit with what you get for free if you just go ahead and download Jing for free. So what I'll do is we're going to present a scenario. When we were preparing for this meeting, I asked Debbie, what's a common question that you might get from a student that would help, a visual would really help solve? And what she told me was some students ask, where is my toolkit? And so what I've got open here is a page from LAC 100. This might look a little different than what you're used to seeing because this is our enrollment staff's version of the course. So since I already have Jing open, I'll show you where I find it on my computer. So I'll scroll down to my start menu, and well, it looks like my start menu disappeared. Give me just one moment, please. So I have a few technologies running concurrently at the moment, and sometimes Jing plays hide and seek. Okay, there we go. So I could go ahead and just click on this Jing icon in my start menu, and it's going to think for a little bit, and it'll probably make an appearance any moment. Oh, it's telling me it's already running. Okay, it directed me to my system tray. Now typically there's actually what I call the Jing Sun, and it floats up here towards the top of my computer screen, but because we have WebEx going right now, I think it's kind of it's clouding over my sun. So I'm going to go here down in the system tray, and I'm going to right click on Jing, and I'm going to choose capture. Great. So I get these crosshairs, and before I get into that capture, I just wanted to refine Jing. I'm going to switch back over to our course so we can work through this scenario. So I'm going to go back ahead, choose Jing, right click to choose capture, and there are my crosshairs again. So what I'd like to do is ideally take an image of my screen, and I'm going to click at the upper left corner and pull and drag down, and just kind of drop down here, and that will give me a nice image that does show my toolkit over here on the right. It looks like I've got some of my system tray showing. Ideally I would be using the Jing icon up in the upper top, so that wouldn't happen. But what happens next is I get this toolbar in the lower left with some options: capture image, capture video, and then we've got redo selection and cancel. So for now I'm just going to choose capture image. And what happens is I get this editing window, and this is where I can do my annotation before I actually send the image. So for example, let's say we want to call this My Toolkit. You can name it. You don't have to, but it's nice if you want to reuse the image later to have it named. And for example, let's say that I'd like to really call out where my toolkit lives on this page. So I clicked on the arrow button in the upper left, and I'm just going to click and drag my mouse, and I can point out the My Toolkit link right there on the right. I could also use this frame function, which I really like, and just click and drag and highlight the words My Toolkit. I could also literally highlight it with a highlighter tool, and I'm getting a little annotation crazy here. I probably wouldn't use so many annotation tools, but just for sake of example, I wanted to show you what's possible. And then I clicked on this T for text in the left, and I'm going to click and drag, and I can actually create a text box window. So I could say, here is the link to my toolkit, and just kind of click away, and there you go. You've got a highly annotated image of my toolkit. And now the next step is getting this to the student or to the person asking for this information. So you have a few sharing options here. The first on the left is share via screencast.com. I'll show you that in a moment. We could also save it to our desktop or to a file on our computer. And my favorite is to copy, because when I'm working really fast, I don't necessarily think I'll reuse this later. once you start using Jing, it's so easy just to open it up and grab a screenshot as you need it in under a minute sometimes. So this is kind of like an impermanent way to grab a screenshot, but if I do click copy, what happens is I'm told my capture has been copied and it's ready to be pasted. So this is the fun part. If I open up an email message and you know, I'd fill out all my information and then I'd go into the body of the message, right click. I could use Control V if you're more of a keyboard shortcut person, and paste. I'll go ahead and broaden my view, and there's our screenshot. And it's pretty big, so maybe I'd want to click on it, pull it down to resize it a little bit, and then I can go in above here, type in some text if I like. But there's my annotated screenshot, and so you can probably think that's a really nice way to communicate quickly without having to write out a bunch of process steps or instructions. So I really like using that method. Another, oh, it looks like our Jing's sun showed up. So you can probably see it up here in the top of my window. I could actually click on it and pull it around and place it wherever I like. But these are our options. What I had been using was the capture crosshairs option. So if I click on that, you'll see I get these crosshairs. I can click escape on my keyboard to get rid of those crosshairs. There are some other buttons too, history and more, which is settings. I'd encourage you to explore these on your own. History will actually give you a history of the captures that you've taken. You can go back and revisit, and then some settings that you might want to establish for your tool. But I won't get into those quite at this point. So we'll go back to capture. Let's take another capture, and I'll show you another way to share that capture. So we could, you know, type in toolkit just to give it a name. And this is another really cool way to share, which is to share via screencast. So I'll click on that button, and Debbie had actually had some video that she had shared via screencast. So I got that message again, which said your capture has been created as a link. It's ready to be shared. So I'm going to open up that email again, and I'm going to right click and paste and just type one space, and there's my link. This is my link to that image. So I could simply send a link to the image instead of the image itself. For different sharing options, I can click Control and click on the link, and it'll take me to screencast.com and directly to that link, or to that image, pardon me. So I could size it full size, small size. So it's cool because you get all that data storage on this site, and it creates those links for you, so you can really quickly just go straight to that image. Another neat feature about Screencast is if you log into the site, and I'm just going to back out this part of the URL and click enter. It's got me logged in since I'm using Jing at the moment, and it gives me this archive of the video files and the image files that I've captured using Jing. So I can look through and see a whole history of the different images I've captured, and then I could go back and I could edit them. I could share them again via link or copying them and pasting them. I could delete them. So say I'm getting close to that 2 gigs of storage and I want to clear out my account, I can go through and I can delete all these old screen captures. So you have this nice repository of images if you just want to grab one and reuse it. If you're getting the same question all the time, or there's an image you particularly like using, you can revisit it in your screencast account. So, and I could demonstrate how to save it to your computer, but I'll just skip that for now. Those other 2 sharing methods are pretty handy, and I think you get a lot of enjoyment from them. So I'm going to take a moment here and just pause and ask if anyone has questions about using image capture.
Hi, Becca. This is Judy Green.
Hi,
I have a
Judy.
question. Hello. Could I capture or take a link from Gene, put it into my PowerPoint, and the student could actually click onto the link from the PowerPoint, or would I have to just capture the image?
I believe it if the student had an electronic copy of your PowerPoint. I think like in other Microsoft applications, you can use Control and click to open that link, and it will launch a new browser window including that image. I would encourage you to save a copy of that image using the Save button in Jing, or just using the Copy button that I first demonstrated, and it'll just take a copy of it, it'll tell you it's ready to be pasted, and then when you go into PowerPoint you could go to your slide, right click, choose paste, and it'll paste it right in there for you.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and continue then and show you guys a little bit about taking video with Jing, which is really a wonderful feature, very handy for showing steps and procedures. So we'll go ahead and we'll explore another scenario, which is imagine a student has asked, how do I find the ProQuest database? Recently I was working on some curriculum, and our librarian Michael Gittleman helped me write out some steps as to navigating to the ProQuest database and searching for articles. And so it's really nice to augment that with a video, an instructional video. And so using Jing, you could go ahead and again just go back to those crosshairs and frame your image, which when taking video it's good to frame the whole page, because a lot of times we move around the page quite a bit. And this time, rather than choosing capture image, I'm going to select capture video, and we'll see a countdown happen. It's telling me my mic's on, so we know we're recording audio. There is the option to mute your mic if you so choose. And then you can just kind of, I like to navigate a little more slowly with my mouse than usual over to the area that I'm trying to indicate, and hover next to it so any viewer can see where I'm going with my mouse. So I'm clicking on the link, we'll let our page load. And here we are at the library homepage, and I'm just going to go over to Connect to Learn and hover over that. We could go directly to ProQuest here as well, which, well, let's do that because we are going to ProQuest. And there we go, there's our ProQuest page. And you could even go ahead and, you know, enter an example here if you'd like. I won't today. But now you're done with your video, so you just mouse down to your stop button. You could pause if you like, maybe navigate to another page and resume your video if you'd like to do that. Down here you do have a mute option, and you have restart as well as cancel. So, but for now we'll just go ahead and click stop, and that will stop our recording. And it takes a couple minutes just to resolve, but while it does, there we go, we've got a preview window. And this is where you can preview your video, and you can also save it and share it from here. So I could click play.
Audio. There is the option to mute your mic if you so choose.
And I can pause the preview, I can change the volume controls and so on. So I can make sure this is the video that I'd like to use. I'd go ahead and name it here, and then you've got the options to share via screencast, which is what I recommend because it's the handiest way to save this. You could also save the video to your computer, but again it's going to be a flash file, and they're not so easy to work with as MPEG-4. So I have some other options. I have Edit in Camtasia Studio because I have that software, which is also a TechSmith product, but you most likely won't see that unless you have Camtasia, and then you could cancel, and you've got some customization features here too, but the ones you'd be using most would be share via screencast.com. So we'll click on that, and like with our image, it's going to upload it to Screencast, and it's going to give us a link, and the videos usually take a couple seconds to render, just because they're larger files. So there's our message: your capture has been sent and the link is ready to be pasted. So I will go ahead and go back to my email body. We've got a little latency here. There we go. Paste in that link. I'm going to control and click with my mouse, and it will take me to screencast.com, where we have our video, and we can play it directly from
So we know we're recording
that
audio.
site.
There is the option to mute your mic.
There we go. So there's your video link, and yet again you could save it in your favorites if you like. You know, it's really nice that you get this link. You could go to your screencast library and you would find that video capture in your library, so you can always return to it and reuse it at any point. So that's video capture. Any questions about how to use that tool? No questions? Okay. And I just want to point you to a couple resources. There's the TechSmith Learning Center, which is really nice for these tutorials if you'd like to go and revisit. Let me pop over here to TechSmith. All you have to do is go to techsmith.com and then support Learning Center. And then on the right hand side they will have a link to the Jing Learning Center. And I found some really great tutorials here, so if you'd like to go ahead and practice, some of these are interactive. They're pretty neat, where they actually have you practice taking captures of images and videos and working with the screencast.com site. So I definitely encourage you to play with this page if you decide to download Jing, and also explore those other globes that circle the sun and see what's available through those. Again, I think this takes you to Screencast, and these are some settings that you might want to set up. So there's some nice resources for you there. And then in general, if you have any questions as you're working with these technologies, please feel free to contact myself or Debbie about them. And this recording's also, or excuse me, this meeting's also been recorded, so if you'd like to revisit any of the meeting, we will be posting this in the faculty resources page on Moodle within a few days. So what we did here today has been recorded and can be shared that way. So I just want to open it up one more time to any other questions.
Just a comment, I've never done any of this, so this is like way beyond my technical ability.
Okay, well in that case I just encourage you to explore those tutorials until you get comfortable, and these image capture tutorials are going to step you through bit by bit, and I found them pretty easy to use and to follow. So you know, it's a matter of installing the software, and then it'll appear in your program window, so you can click on it, and then once you just click on this crosshairs, you just kind of grab the area that you'd like to show, and then use these buttons after that, and you can always cancel out if you don't like what you've chosen. So I'd encourage you just to play around until you feel comfortable. And also to think about ways you might use these technologies in the classroom in terms of communicating processes to students or information where to find things. Maybe they're looking for announcements on their Moodle page, where to find that. You probably get some questions, some of the same questions over and over again, and this might help reduce having to send multiple versions of emails to people. At least I would hope. Does anyone have any ideas about that, how they might use these technologies?
This is Kurt, and I know I've had to walk students through by phone how to find a case study through ProQuest and all, so I definitely want to do a little a video like that. I know it is going to take me a little time to come up to speed on it and all, but I think it'll be really useful.
Great. Thank you, Kurt. And I also, again, want to invite you to contact me if you'd like a resource or any help in using these technologies. You know, I found once I learned them and was comfortable with them, I found many different ways to use them. Think about, we have our IT manager here with us at the moment, and a lot of times maybe something, I need some help with something on my computer. It's great to take a screenshot of that error message and send it to them. Maybe you need help from Moodle support at some point. Or you have a particular question for administration. When you take a screenshot of what you're seeing, it kind of, I don't know, I think it makes your communication go a little faster, and it brings that message home. Debbie, is there anything you'd like to add?
You know, not at this time. I just, you know, again, if you have any questions or you want to find out more about PowerPoints or, you know, how to create a video, I'm more than happy to help anyone who wants to do that. If you want to let me look at your video before you upload it to YouTube or the class, if you just want me to look at it real quick, that's fine. I'm more than happy to help. I'll be a resource for you for doing that.
Thanks, Debbie. Well, you know, being that we're online educators, anything we can do to communicate visually with images or video, audio, I think really helps to bridge that gap. So I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight. It's been a pleasure to share these different tools with you, and please do contact us if you have any questions or feedback whatsoever. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks, Becca.